at what point in time did you feel grew the most?
Okay. I would probably say it was that time where I just graduated college, maybe it was a couple months out, and I started working with that indie game team. So actually, let me clarify. So there was two things that happened. So and it was actually about like 6 months after I graduated. So don't feel bad if you can't get the job immediately. I was unemployed for quite some time there. But so I actually got a job at Yahoo first. So I was a back-end engineer for Yahoo Sports, which was awesome. And about 2 weeks after that, I ran into an indie game developer at another conference like I was talking about. This one was called the Day of the Devs. And we were in line together, and I started making fun of him as he was playing some indie game. And then we just started chatting and hit it off. And he was like, "Hey, do you make games?" And I was like, "Yeah, I make games." And he was like, "All right, I would love to, talk to you about this VR game that I'm working on." So, fast forward and a couple game jams, and the next thing I knew, I was working on this team, and it was about 6 of us initially. There was people who came in and out, but I'd say there's 6 like core members probably. And yeah, we were working on this VR multiplayer, action arena game. So it was a lot of fun. It was kind of like a MOBA type thing. So it was a lot of fun. And so I would definitely say that was the biggest growth period of my life, because I went from a transition of being a student to being a professional. But not only was I professional in terms of working in a larger corporation like Yahoo, where I got tons of great mentorship from my manager and my peers who had they've had years of experience, right? This was a larger team. I understood how kind of software engineering as a whole worked, and I learned about design patterns and things like that. Things where I just improved my software engineering design skills as a whole. And then on the flip side, I was grinding, putting in all these extra hours on the game, the indie game, and that was super intense. I was able to design and create characters, and I had a ton of influence on our product. And it's just kind of, you do all kinds of things. I do everything from gameplay to adding UI assets to adding animations and effects. And I even was asked to make a couple 3D assets, so I had to bust out my early freshman college year animation and 3D modeling skills. So I was just doing all kinds of stuff, and I got to see the side of the marketing aspect of trying to build up a a Discord community, and doing interviews with different publications to get our game out there, talking to streamers to have them play our game. So there was all of this stuff going on, and it was at the same time as me, working at Yahoo. So by far the most I've ever grown in a short amount of time. It was incredibly hard. At the peak, I was probably putting in the 40 hours plus at least another 20 hours. So I was working probably 60 hours a week normally on average. So that was, and that was kind of just what it was. So I knew I kind of told myself okay, this isn't going to be permanent. I'm not going to have 2 jobs forever. So just put in the hours now, and, it'll pay off. And, it's nothing, that most startup, people don't do, right? For all the time I was putting in, the CEO of that same indie game company was putting in 80 hours. So it gets worse, right? So I wasn't doing the most, but it was definitely the most I had done in any recent amount of time.